How's it going, boys? Yeesh here, and once again the NHL beta has come and gone, and after getting a chance to sit down and play it over this past week, I've drawn up all the things I thought EA got right, as well as what I think they got wrong in NHL 20. Right out of the gate, I think one thing we all agree EA did a fantastic job on this year is the aesthetics of the game. The end of the period highlights specifically are fantastic, and you finally get good camera angles on goal replays, and none of it takes away from the actual gameplay, which is key. The new commentary team is a little too energetic at times when no energy is required, but it's still a breath of fresh air, and while I still prefer to play with them off, I will say they do an excellent job of getting your adrenaline going in the final minute of a game. Lastly, instead of overhauling the graphics to improve individuality, EA has added player intros and signature shots for each player to offer up a different look. And while none of these things are game changing, they do help keep the game feeling a little bit more fresh so that you don't get the feeling you're just playing a roster update from 19, 18, or 17 based off presentation alone. Next, I want to focus on the actual gameplay, starting with what EA has been pushing since the very first NHL 20 trailer, which is the new shooting animations. With over 450 new motions being added to the game, we were promised brand new and realistic ways of scoring, and honestly, I felt a little bit let down here. The shots look different to be sure, but the kinds of goals that go in really haven't been as unique as they advertised. I haven't seen anyone score with a quick snapper above the goalie's pad and below the blocker. 5-hole goals are a little more common, but still a rarity, and I feel like ideal shooting should be if you shoot it where the goalie isn't, it should go in instead of having corners picked out in advance ahead of time. But don't get me wrong, it's definitely without a doubt better than 19, and it was only a pre-beta, so I'm not too worried about the shooting going into 20. I will say that one-timers are awesome now, as you'll need to hit your teammate in their wheelhouse with their feet already set if you want to get maximum power and accuracy, making the one-timers in this game feel way less arcadey than previous games, and super satisfying when you pull a perfect one off. Another big thing that changed offensively are passes and the way they are received. And while I love the way players will now reach for passes and are not locked into where the puck is going, the passes themselves are one of people's biggest gripes with the NHL 20 beta, specifically because the accuracy is highly inconsistent and it now takes far longer to charge a pass to maximum power in order to get it through lanes, which is a great idea in theory, but it needs serious fine-tuning on exactly how long it takes to charge a pass and how accurate they are before I can call it an actual improvement over 19. Switching to the defensive side of the game, another aspect that has taken a major step backwards and is easily my biggest gripe with the beta is the hitting, or rather in this case the lack thereof. EA's team had said they were working to fine-tune it, but it is almost useless in the beta to the point where I as a 5'10" dangler can barely be nudged off the puck. It's impossible to consistently knock people off the puck unless they are caught in a vulnerable position, leading to less passes and more often than not players holding onto pucks until a high-scoring play opens up, which is the exact opposite of what EA is trying to promote. Now, with that being said, one thing they've done a great job with on the defensive side of the game is taking away cross-crease passes, with defenders now picking off passes much more consistently. It's looking like NHL 20 will be the death of the cross-crease pass, unless it's very obviously open and available due to bad defense, much like actual hockey. The last thing I want to touch on are the new goaltender animations that they introduced this year, and from a purely aesthetic standpoint, I love them. They look refreshing after seeing the same 10 animations for the past half decade, but it's also a big step forward gameplay-wise, as they will now challenge shooters by being aggressive, as well as utilizing poke checks on breakaways to help eliminate glitch goals. They also have far better rebound control so that you don't see non-stop pass-off pad attempts in ESHL, and while I love this, EA needs to adjust it so that goalies don't deflect it completely out of play so often. The stoppages of play aren't fun for anyone, and they take away from the speed and the flow of the game, two of the greatest things hockey has to offer. To conclude, the pros of 20 based off the beta are better and more realistic shooting, improved puck pickups, defense is much easier, goaltending overall has improved, and the game actually looks and feels different thanks to the outstanding aesthetics of the game, and you'll actually be able to tell at a glance which game someone is playing, which hasn't been the case since the turn to current gen. The cons of the beta are absolutely brutal hitting that must be changed, new passing needs major tweaks, and there are a few too many whistles at the moment for the average player's liking. All in all, I enjoyed the beta, and I'm looking forward to an NHL game for the first time since 14, but let me know what you think, boys. Am I being too light on EA here, or is there something major I missed? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all in the next one.